So when you walk into a room, what happens? Well, if you're like most guys, not much. You make your way in, you look for a spot, and then you blend into the wall. Yeah, pretty much you disappear, you're invisible, which is great if you're a spy. But let's face it, most guys, we want to be seen. We want to be noticed. Perhaps you even dream of walking into a room and turning heads, having other men instantly show you respect, having women check you out. And we know this happens because we've seen this happen. You know what I'm talking about, those men that walk in and command respect. Without saying a word, it seems like others just know to pay attention to them. Well, gents, I'm here to tell you this is a skill that you can learn. And in today's video, I'm going to break out the steps on how to do it. So gents, I'm gonna go ahead and call you out. Most likely, you are an unpolished diamond. You're a man with potential that very few people see. Because over the years, what I've noticed is the men that really watch my videos, pay attention to them, they've got skills, they've got experience, they've got ambition, but for some reason, the doors of opportunity are passing them by. And gents, I'm here to tell you, I'm here to remind you, one of the biggest reasons why is that other people are stupid. Seriously, I'm stupid too. I'm a human being. I rely on heuristics, shortcuts to make quick decisions. Because every single day I am bombarded with information just like everybody else, and I need to find simple, quick, easy to understand paths that make navigating through life easier. Well, one of these heuristics is that human beings judge a book by its cover. When we think of a smart lawyer, we got a picture in our mind. We think of a competent consultant. Another picture pops up. A man that runs a successful business, whether it be in tech or whether it be in the fashion industry or even in construction. Guys, we've got a picture of that guy in our head. And if other people don't measure up, if they don't fit in that picture, it takes a few seconds. It's hard for us to understand whether or not this person is legit. And that's where the problem lies, because if you don't meet their expectation, if you don't stand out, then you stand back. You stand behind. You are invisible to most people. So how to break out of the background? Well, it first starts, gentlemen, with your presence. Now, gents, when I'm talking about presence, what I'm talking about is your posture, the amount of space and how you take up that space, and the way that you move. So first up, your posture. You want to roll your shoulders back. You want to stand up straight. Stop slouching over. Try to bring exercises into your routine that build up the muscles that naturally have you stand up straight and press out your chest. Men that do this come off as confident, competent, and stable. Next up, let's talk about space. In particular, how you sit, how you move, how you own the environment you're in. So first up, don't try to shrink yourself down. Don't make yourself small, because a lot of us have this habit of trying to make ourselves smaller, of going into the corner, of trying to disappear in the room. Don't be afraid to sit at the table. I'm not saying take your boss's seat, but the thing is, have confidence in the space that you have and own it. And let's talk about movement. You want to slow things down. I know I talk kind of fast in these videos. Part of it is because it's YouTube. I want to get the point across. But seriously, when you are speaking, record yourself. See how quickly do you talk. Don't fidget. Don't have sudden moves. Move a little bit slower. In fact, this is going to sound so corny, but you just trust me on this. Imagine yourself as a panther, as a lion moving. I mean, how does that animal move? Yes, at times it moves very quickly when it needs to, but most of the time, it's just moving slowly. But seriously, if you put yourself in that mindset, you've got the eye of the tiger going on. You move like a tiger. You are just going to feel more confident. Next up, let's talk about clothing. Come on, it's real men, real style. Now, I'm not saying that you got to wear a suit, but I am saying pay attention to your image and dress to the part that people expect. I mean, you look at the outfit I've got here. I've got a sweater jacket, which is incredibly comfortable. I've just got a collared shirt. Whenever I go into Starbucks, this happened, a few years back, but the girls working behind, they asked me, they're like, we always see you in here. Like, we're trying to guess what kind of work you do. I think you're a doctor. Another one thought I was a lawyer. Now, of course, I'm not smart enough to be either of those. I am just simply a business owner. But I thought it was interesting and a little bit flattering that they were making these judgments, assuming that I was in a position that had a lot of freedom, a position that requires schooling in our society, has quite a bit of respect. But my point here is think about the image you want your clothing to send, because most of the people you interact with on a daily basis, you walk by, you don't talk with them. They simply just look at you, they take what they see, they put it in a box, and they make a judgment about you. So use that to your advantage. You work as an engineer at a construction firm. Obviously, you don't need to be wearing a three-piece suit, but can you dress in a way that your wardrobe is versatile? Can you wear dark denim, some good-looking boots? Because you're rarely going to be ever using a shovel, but you want to look like the guy in charge. charge. So whenever the boss's boss comes in, he looks around, okay, that guy's wearing clothing that fits him. He looks actually well dressed. He's got a hard hat on, but he's also got a sports jacket on. I'm going to go talk to him first because he looks the part of the man in charge. Now, the next point I want to hit on is herd mentality. And whether you know it or not, you are wearing fashion because you bought your clothing someplace. Unless you are shopping at a thrift store and you're just wearing whatever. I mean, come on. If we could wear anything, some of you guys would be walking around naked. Other people would be dressed like Spider-Man, Captain America. I don't know. Me personally, I love Wolverine's outfits and Gambit. Maybe get a combination of the two. But seriously, we are products of the box stores, those clothing stores we walk into and the fashion of the times. That's why pretty much you look around. Most guys in their off time are wearing a ball cap, jeans, running shoes, and a t-shirt. This is a fashion trend that most guys have fallen into and they don't even know it. And this is herd mentality. And for the majority of human existence, this has been a good thing because you stick with the herd, you're more likely to survive. But in today's world, especially when standing out can give you an advantage, this is where it's hard to break free, to say, you know what, I'm going to stop dressing for the person I am right now. I'm going to start dressing as the man I know myself to be, the man I want to be a year from now, 3 years from now, because I've got a vivid vision of where I'm going to go, of the future man I'm going to become. By the way, gents, if you don't have a vision of where you want to be, if you don't have anyone around you that is supporting, holding you accountable to becoming the best version of yourself, guys, you need to check out what we're doing over at Health, Wealth, Purpose. I'll link to this passion project of mine down in the description of today's video. But seriously, guys, go check this out. This is a very unique group that I created just over a year ago when I realized so many of you guys that watch my videos or engaged in my communities, you are not living to your full potential. And the main reason is because you don't have other men around you helping to hold you accountable, pushing you harder, and sharing with you a step-by-step path that has worked for other men for thousands of years and one that can work for you. So again, if this at all sounds interesting, check out the link in the description of today's video or just go over to healthwealthpurpose.com and apply. Yes, not everyone can get into this because we're looking for a few good men. So guys, if you are tired of not living up to your potential, if you are ready to make the jump to become the man you know yourself to be, check out what we're doing over at Health Wealth Purpose. Next up, let's talk about your voice. Let's talk about eye contact, and let's talk about the way you communicate. So have you ever thought about the fact that we spend decades on our education? Seriously, from grade school to middle school to high school, college, grad school, and we learn all this information, advanced mathematics, biology. This stuff is great, especially if you have gone down a profession that requires it. But how many classes have you taken when it comes to communication? The way that you look at people, the way that you speak to people, the way that you present yourself, your hand movements. How many classes have you taken? Well, if you're like the majority of men, 0, maybe 1. Some of you guys, yeah, have taken 2 or 3, but every single day, what do you do more? Yes, maybe some of you guys are using those mathematical skills, but it's safe to say in the things that matter probably most, communication with your family, with your partner, with your friends. Yeah, it's safe to say that we have really neglected this skill. And this is important to understand because if you look at life, you look at everything in front of you, imagine it's like a chain. And that chain is one link is your experience. Another link in the chain is your health. Another link in the chain is your purpose. And then we've got the link of image and presentation. This is the way you dress, the way you speak. Look at how weak that link is. And come on, you know the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So if you're watching this video, and this is true, guys, take some steps to level up your presentation skills, your image skills, your ability to communicate with others. And it can be a small thing. I mean, look, join Toastmasters. We've talked about this before in the video, but you simply committing to speaking in front of other people. What are you going to do? You're going to probably start dressing better. You are going to probably prepare, maybe film a video of you speaking so you don't make a complete fool of yourself. You're going to work on your writing ability. Yes, you may leverage ChatGPT, but the reality is you're going to read through it a few times, hopefully before you show up. You are going to put yourself in a position. You're going to set an ultimatum. You're going to set a goal, and you are going to take steps to improve yourself. Because the reality is when you speak, when it comes to eye contact, when it even comes to handshakes, a lot of this is culturally dependent. I've made entire videos talking about all those details. But if you are in Japan versus in Austin, Texas, well, the behaviors are going to be very different. So you do need to pay attention to that. But here's the thing. All of this is learnable. All of these are skills that you can improve. Now, I mentioned purpose. What do I mean by that? I know for me in my HWP group, it is one of the most interesting aspects because a lot of guys, they don't have a purpose. They're wandering through life aimlessly. Again, if that sounds like you, check out what we're doing at HWP. But seriously, men with purpose, men with direction, men with a vision of where they are going. And when they walk into a room, other people take notice because you're not an empty suit. There is something driving you that is bigger than that fear of rejection, than that fear of what other people may think. Because the reality is, even the most confident man has a bit of fear within him. But the fear of letting those down, maybe it's his company, he's in there, he wants to share the word of his new company. It's the fear of that failure, of him letting down his new employees, of his company. Maybe it's his nonprofit that he needs to raise awareness of because he knows in this room are tons of donors. Whatever it is that's driving you, when you've got that purpose that is bigger than you, it becomes bigger than the fear, and that's what drives you. And people can pick up on this because it's real. It's the energy that drives a man to become the best version of himself. So have that purpose, have that energy, and you will have the presence, you will have the confidence to be the type of man that walks into a room and owns it. Now, if you want more specific details on that whole body language stuff, eye contact, all that other stuff, I've got a whole video. I went into it right here. I talked literally about percentages of eye contact. Again, it's more North American focused, but I know a lot of you guys would enjoy it, so go check it out. Boom, right here. Oh yeah.